Chapter 1 Jujutsu Kaisen. Few things are certain in this day and age. At most, only 3. Mito Konman always wins, Saizai airs on Sundays, and Nobara Kugisaki takes forever to shop. So when Kugisaki said she wanted to say Amano Yokojo, Fushiguro was ready for a long haul. Similar to one of those Sunday mornings when Gojo would say, Megami, we should go see Parque Espada. Because of Itodori's love for TV, Fushiguro expected him to be interested in a trendy destination. But he wasn't. Instead he said, no, there's some place else I wanted to go. Oh, alright, then let's meet up later. Fushiguro, who had been accustomed to the bourgeois mood Itodori and Kugisaki generated when they were together, was as surprised by the trio splitting up as if he had found out that Hikituki was low in iron, and pleased. He wanted to go straight home to finish reading the paperback he bought the other day. He wanted to organize his desk drawer and closet. However, Fushiguro was the serious, responsible type. He worried whether Itadori, a vessel of the demon Sukuna, would be okay on his own. The district of Umeno around Okatsumachi Station was both historical and hopping with activity. An abundance of peculiar tales of the supernatural were associated with the lively post-war market town. So, demurrant curses might well be lurking there. Even worse, if Fushiguro takes his eyes off him for even a second, Itadori might buy a pair of horribly tacky sunglasses or declare Tatsukawa to be the essence of Shinjuku. He might even wander into Chiyoda Ward and start snapping pictures at Masakoto's tomb to post on social media. Nuts loath though he was to do it, Fushiguro decided to stay with Itadori. Fushiguro, if you aren't interested in Akiba, why are you coming along? Itadori asked. Mind your business. Fine, Itadori responded. Anyway, I always did want to check out Akiba. Is there something you wanted to buy? Fushiguro asked. I doubt there's anything more than manga, video games, and electronics. Huh? I'm going sightseeing, Itadori said. Shibuya and Shinjuku are alright, but whether I see Akiba on TV, it's a real otherworldly vibe. Sort of like a theme park. So that's your reason, huh? Those who are used to living in the city might not notice, but Akihabara is an odd place. The atmosphere around the station is unique. It's drenched in anime culture. The sheer number of visual stimulus from the ambiguous and advertisements is astonishing. The abundance of flashing screens featuring smiling video game characters do indeed give the whole district the impression of a theme park. Other sights might include an occasional cosplayer amidst the densely packed crowd, maids bustling handing out flyers to attract customers to the maid cafes, or an unusual foreigner automobile cruising down the road transporting a large prototype of a large robot. Itadori was unable to suppress his curiosity in such a place. It was impossible. This is crazy, Fushiguro! There's game centers everywhere! They're like convenience stores! Because this is Akiba. This is crazy, Fushiguro! Those maids are actually trying to get our attention. Because this is Akiba. This is crazy, Fushiguro. Is that a pervy video game? That sign is for a pervy game, right? Whoa, is that out loud? Like, right out in the open? Uh-oh, I'm underage. Will I get in trouble? Shut up already. Akiba is a noisy place, but to Fushiguro, Itadori was 3 times louder. They had a few hours before they had to meet back up with Kugisaki. Fushiguro's head hurt just thinking about spending all that time in Akiba along with Itadori, who had transformed into a wide-eyed child. Itadori, meanwhile, was in high spirits, oblivious to Fushiguro's mood. I'm so glad you came, Fushiguro, Itadori said. It's so crowded I might get lost. But it's not as crowded as in Shinjuku, right? Don't judge it by the usual Tokyo standards, Itadori responded. Tokyo's the only place where vending machines that accept electronic money are lined up all over the place and peppers standing around in front of all the stores. Seeing a pepper robot isn't that common, Fushiguro said. In Sendai, the only thing to see is the artificial hot spring topos. Don't casually drop your local joints into the conversation. Like I'm supposed to know what you're talking about. What is the Topo's place like anyway? It's a super deluxe public bath. If Pepper's standing in a public bath is a sign of civilization, we're in trouble. Anyway, Itadori says, I'm just saying that instead of being alone. It's reassuring to be with someone who knows the terrain. After all, I'm still not great at taking the subway. Not even you can get lost on the Yamoto no Taste line, Fushiguro said. There it is, that city boy attitude. It comes to you so naturally. Actually, you don't get lost that much anymore. You go places all the time. Hey, Fushiguro, Itadori explains. Let's eat a kebab. Kebab! Try to make sense, would you? Fushiguro already noticed that Itadori and Gojo had a similar vibe, and the more he talked to him, the stronger that impression got. With Itadori, conversations was less like playing catch than dodgeball. In Gojo's case, it was like swinging away at a golf course or at a batting center. It occurred to Fushiguro that he hadn't seen Gojo around the dorm or Tokyo Professional Jujutsu High School that day. Gojo can go wherever he wanted to on a day off, but Fushiguro found himself wandering around about that many mysteries surrounding the teacher. As they did so, he let Itadori's chattering drift into the background. It resonated at the same about the same frequency as the clamorous streets, and so it's easy to tune out. The next thing he knew, Itadori was gone. Huh? Itadori looked around in confusion and spotted Itadori's reddish hair just as it approached into a game center. What are you doing? Playing a video game? Or do you mean what game am I playing? Itadori asked. No, you special grade dunce. Fushiguro had finally located Itadori after climbing to the 4th floor of a game center located in a tall, narrow structure. Itadori was deep in the fighting game area, at a slight remote from a gathering of hardcore gamers. In a corner lined with retro arcade games with prices starting at 50 yen for one credit. Even worse, he was sitting in front of a game that looked particularly dull, even compared to his neighbors. Itadori pursued his lips and lost into an explanation. It doesn't make sense to spend hours wandering around outside, but there are tons of game centers, which is perfect. At least say something before you wander off. I did. Fushiguro felt a twinge of guilt of tuning out Itadori earlier, so he changed the subject. Anyway, what game is this? Isn't it obvious? It's Combat Corporate Warriors Business Fighter. Combat Corporate Business Warriors Business Fighter? That's anything but obvious. It's my first time, so I don't know much about it either, said Itadori. The game Itadori had chosen is seemingly unbelievably boring. Although it was a fighting game, most of the characters looked to be middle-aged company men. All wore business suits, which made it hard to tell them apart. It only costed 50 yen, but still, that Itadori had chosen this game out of all the games was mind-boggling. No wonder he ate silk at his finger, Fushiguro thought. Itadori began playing. Let it play? It's a 2-player setup. I refused to pay for that game. Fushiguro frowned as if experiencing something truly distasteful. But one-on-one fighting games are usually as fun as your opponent, and playing such a mind-numbing game alone was pointless. Despite Fushiguro's reluctance, Itadori really wanted to play with him. Huh? Are you too chicken? Or do you suck at video games? Fushiguro, are you afraid you can't beat me? Itadori said. I'm not afraid. I just don't feel like it. If you chicken out, then that's a defeat by default. A defeat. Are you really fine with that? Play by yourself, says Fushiguro. Come on, I'm begging you. I'll even pay for you, okay? Are you serious? Ugh. Itadori started fishing out some change, but Fushiguro put on his own money and sat at the opponent's screen. Perhaps he had crumbled in the face of Itadori's presence, or maybe he just didn't want to watch him grovel. After all, fighting games are far more fun with 2 players than 1. Itadori, who was immensely grateful to Fushiguro for joining, cheerfully selected his character. Alright, I'm President Yamada, and I'm Subsection Manager Osaki, Fushiguro said. Seriously? That's the default starting character. Well, he's probably easy to use, so he's the perfect for a beginner like you, Fushiguro. Didn't you say this is your first time too? Well, before you got here, I made it to the third screen in arcade mode, Itadori boasted. Sounds weak to me. The two began playing. Take that, Itadori said. In just 15 minutes, I've developed a technique for certain victory. What, a short training period? Itadori began by attacking with a barrage of business card shurikens, which only required a simple command. Meanwhile, Fushiguro had a subsection manager Osaki jump to avoid President Yamada's shuriken blast as he closes the distance. He then executed a sudden dive into a strong kick, which he followed by throwing his opponent against the wall and delivering a flurry of blows. Huh? Hold on, Fushiguro. You got me pinned. No fair. Ugh. Light punch, medium kick. Fushiguro built up his overtime gauge through a victorious onslaught and then used it to finish off his opponent with the killer technique, Fist of Overtime Fury. It was a brilliant victory. No way! What the... Fushiguro, how did you know that special move? Are you actually good at this game? There's a list of commands over on the screen. You cheated! Itadori said. Maybe you're just no good at video games. Well, if I'd known the commands, I wouldn't have lost. Let's play again. One more round. Give me a break, Fushiguro said. Are you really putting in more coins? After a full hour of combat, Itadori had more losses than wins. The two of them were feeling drained as they went down to the floor for the crane games and bought a couple of sodas from the vending machines. After the heat of battle had cooled down, they felt something like a cool down, and they decreased in their energy levels wasn't evident on their faces. Ugh, why did I waste 1,000 yen on that dumb game? Itadori hung his head. Fushiguro looked at him like he was an utter fool. If you're satisfied now, let's get out of here. Game centers are good for passing time, but they also eat up your cash. That's for sure. Oh, hey! What? If you find another rambunctious game you want to play, I will not be joining you this time, Fushiguro said. No, it's not that. Look, Fushiguro, over there. Fushiguro narrowed his eyes, reluctantly turned in the direction Itadori was pointing. His eyes widened in surprise. Gojo-sensei? Yeah, that's him, Itadori said. Without a doubt, the person they were looking at was none other than Satoru Gojo. After all, who but Gojo would stroll around in the dim light of a game center wearing black socks with a black blindfold over his eyes? Huh? Fushiguro, what is Gojo-sensei doing? He's playing a crane game, Fushiguro said, to win snacks. But why? He came to a game center long to play crane games because he got the munchies? Hey, don't ask me, replied Fushiguro. Should I know? Oh, said Itadori, he gave up. That was fast. Pouting in dissatisfaction, Gojo swatted towards the game center's exit. His behavior was hard to understand, but Gojo had always been hard to understand. Fushiguro decided not to think about it too much. Itadori had other ideas. Let's follow him, he said. And why would we do that? Itadori was making as if to dart out the game center in the pursuit of Gojo. In a rush, Fushiguro gulped down his soda, threw away the can, and followed. Think about it, Itadori said. Gojo-sensei is probably off today, right? And I don't know what he does on his day offs or in his free time. So we follow him. You said that like it makes sense, says Fushiguro. Well, I'm curious. I know next to nothing about Gojo-sensei. Of course, if you don't want to, you can always wait alone. Fushiguro and Itadori ended up tailing Gojo. There was no doubt Gojo was a reliable teacher and a respectful sorcerer. To the students, however, he was also a man of many mysteries due to his nonchalant, busy demeanor, unpredictability, career, way of thinking, and a scale of activity. He didn't seem like the kind to cheerily stroll around town on his days off. In other words, Fushiguro gave into his curiosity too. Also, fighting Itadori in that dumb game may have left him mentally exhausted. In any case, they lost sight of Gojo and started looking for him again. Hello everyone, it's me, Will Kirby. I know I made this just a little short. I will continue part 2 tomorrow of chapter 1 of Jujutsu Kaisen, Summer of Ashes, Autumn of Dusk, and I wanted to see if you guys like it, and I'll keep doing more of these until I'm done with the book. So, as always, be sure to like, comment, and subscribe if you want more or something like this. And share this video if you want. And if you like, click the notification bell button so you won't miss a video. And as always, I hope you enjoy. Bye bye.